Lisa was only 24 years old. She had no mother, no father, no family. She lived alone and had no home, so she wore old rags as clothes. Every day she worked in a small restaurant, washing plates and serving food. Even though life was hard, Lisa was humble, kind, and never complained. Desmond was a 35-year-old billionaire. He had cars, houses, money, everything money could buy. But he was not proud. He was a humble man who respected everybody, rich or poor. Desmond had a girlfriend named Vanessa. She was very beautiful, always wearing expensive designer clothes, shoes, and bags. But inside, her heart was not kind. She looked down on people who had little. One day, Vanessa went to the restaurant to buy food for herself and for Desmond, because she didn't know how to cook. Lisa was holding a tray of water, her hand shaking as she walked past. Suddenly, her leg slipped a little and splash. The water poured on Vanessa's shiny dress. The whole restaurant went quiet. Vanessa shouted, "Do you know how much this dress costs? You can't even afford it in your dreams." Lisa quickly dropped to her knees. "I'm so sorry, Ma. Please forgive me. It was a mistake." But Vanessa's face grew hard. She raised her hand and slapped Lisa. Everyone gasped. Lisa's eyes filled with tears, but she still begged, "Please, forgive me." Vanessa turned to the manager. "If you want me to keep coming here, sack her. I will not sit in a place where this dirty girl is working." The manager tried to beg. "Please, madam, she didn't mean to." Vanessa cut him off. "Sack her." Lisa held the manager's leg, crying, "Please, sir, don't send me away. I need this job." But the manager shook his head sadly. "Lisa, I can't lose my customer because of you. I'm sorry." Lisa's heart broke. She packed her small bag and walked out of the restaurant. At that time, Vanessa had gone back to Desmond's car. Desmond asked her, "Why did you take so long?" She smiled quickly and said, "Nothing important." She didn't tell him what she had done inside, because she knew Desmond was a good man who would never support her actions. Outside, the sky turned dark. Soon, heavy rain began to fall. Lisa had no umbrella, no jacket. She placed her small bag on her head and walked in the storm, shivering. With nowhere to go, she found an uncompleted building and decided to pass the night there. She didn't know that the building belonged to Desmond. The next morning, the workers came to the site and were shocked to see Lisa sleeping in the corner, wet and cold. They quickly called their boss. When Desmond arrived, he saw Lisa and asked gently, "Young lady, what are you doing here?" Lisa stood up slowly and explained, "Sir, I lost my job yesterday because of a customer. I had nowhere to go, so I stayed here." Desmond looked at her closely. "That customer must be a very mean person," he said with pity in his eyes. He didn't know it was Vanessa. Lisa told him everything that happened at the restaurant. Desmond's heart ached for her. Out of kindness, he said, "Come with me. You will stay in my house. You can work as my housekeeper." Lisa could hardly believe her ears. She followed him home. The moment they stepped into Desmond's mansion, Vanessa saw Lisa and screamed, "What are you doing here?" Desmond turned to her in surprise. "You know her?" Vanessa tossed her hair and said, "Yes. This is the foolish girl who poured water on me." But Desmond had already heard Lisa's side of the story. Knowing how mean Vanessa could be, he believed Lisa. His eyes narrowed. "So you're the one who made her lose her job?" he asked Vanessa, shocked. Vanessa rolled her eyes. "She deserved it." Desmond shook his head. "I can't believe this." Vanessa, apologize to her." Vanessa crossed her arms. "I will never apologize to someone like her." Days passed. Vanessa began to plot against Lisa. She tried to frame her so that Desmond would send her away. But every plan failed. And little by little, Desmond began to see something special in Lisa. Her kindness, her humility, her gentle heart. Something Vanessa never had. Slowly, without even planning it, Desmond's heart started to beat differently whenever Lisa was near. Desmond could not stop thinking about Lisa. The way she spoke with respect, the way she never complained, the way her eyes shined even though she wore rags, it touched his heart in a way money never did. Lisa worked in his house quietly, sweeping, cleaning, and helping the maids. She never behaved proud because she now lived in a mansion. She still said thank you even when someone gave her the smallest thing. One evening, Desmond was sitting in the garden. He watched Lisa arranging flowers. The rain had washed her hair the night she lost her job, but now under the sunlight, he noticed how beautiful she was, beautiful in a natural way, without makeup, without designer clothes. Vanessa, on the other hand, grew angry. She saw how Desmond looked at Lisa sometimes, and it made her jealous. She shouted at Lisa often, saying things like, "Don't touch this. Don't sit there. Know your place." Lisa never argued. She only bowed her head and said softly, "Yes, Ma." But this only made Desmond notice more. He thought, why is Lisa so humble, even when people treat her badly? Why does Vanessa, who has everything, behave so cruelly? One night, Desmond and Vanessa were at a dinner party. All the rich people were there, laughing, drinking, and eating. Lisa was back at the mansion, helping the staff. At the dinner, Desmond overheard Vanessa gossiping about him with her friends. She said, "Desmond is too soft. He thinks money is everything. I don't love him. I only love the life he gives me." Her friends laughed, but Desmond's heart broke. He realized the truth. Vanessa never cared for him. When they returned home, he was quiet. Vanessa noticed and asked, "What is wrong with you?" Desmond only shook his head. But that night, he could not sleep. His mind kept going back to Lisa, the girl who had nothing, yet her heart was richer than gold. The next morning, Desmond saw Lisa again in the kitchen, humming softly as she cooked food for the workers. He stood by the door, watching her, and something inside him whispered, "This girl is different." From that day, Desmond began to talk to Lisa more. He asked her about her life, her parents, her dreams. Lisa told him about her struggles, how she lost her parents young, how she had to work in the restaurant to survive, how she always prayed for a better tomorrow. Desmond listened, his heart full of pity and admiration. But Vanessa noticed the change. She saw Desmond smiling at Lisa, listening to her stories. Anger burned inside her. She made a vow. "I will never allow that poor girl to take my place." And so, Vanessa began to plan her biggest scheme yet, to disgrace Lisa in front of Desmond and push her out of his life forever. Vanessa's heart was boiling. She could see it clearly. Desmond was no longer looking at her the way he used to. His eyes were softer whenever Lisa was around. He laughed more when Lisa spoke. And wise, Lisa wasn't even trying to impress him. That made Vanessa even more jealous. One afternoon, Vanessa came up with a plan. She went to Desmond's study and placed some money inside Lisa's cleaning bag. Then she went to Desmond crying loudly. "Desmond," she shouted, "your housekeeper is a thief. She stole from you." Desmond frowned. "What are you talking about?" "Check her bag," Vanessa said with a wicked smile. Lisa was called to the living room. She stood there confused as Desmond gently asked, "Lisa, please bring your bag." Lisa ran quickly and brought it. When they opened it, bundles of money fell to the floor. Everyone gasped. Lisa's eyes widened. She shook her head, tears already falling. "So, I swear I don't know how this money entered my bag. I would never steal from you." Vanessa folded her arms proudly. "You see, I told you. She's nothing but a poor thief pretending to be humble." The other workers began to whisper. But Desmond stood silent, watching Lisa's tears. Something in his heart told him she was not lying. He looked at Vanessa carefully, and in that moment, he remembered all the things Lisa had told him about how she lost her job because of a mean customer. Desmond took a deep breath and said, "Lisa, I believe you." Vanessa's smile dropped. "What?" "Yes," Desmond said firmly. "You are humble, hardworking, and kind. I know you would never steal from me." Lisa fell to her knees, crying. "Thank you, sir. Thank you for trusting me." But Desmond wasn't done. He turned to Vanessa, his eyes sharp. "Vanessa, were you the one who put that money in her bag?" Vanessa stammered. What? Why would I?" "Because you have done something like this before." Desmond cut her off. "You destroyed her job at the restaurant. I didn't want to believe you could be so heartless, but now I see clearly." Vanessa's face turned red with anger and shame. She tried to defend herself, but Desmond raised his hand. "Enough. I can no longer ignore this. You hurt an innocent girl, and now you want to frame her in my own house." Lisa sat on the floor, still weeping softly. Desmond bent down and lifted her gently by the hand. "Don't cry again, Lisa. As long as I am here, no one will treat you like this again." At that moment, Vanessa realized she was losing. Desmond's heart was already moving away from her. But Vanessa was not ready to give up. She stormed out of the mansion, her mind racing. "If I can't have Desmond, then that poor girl will not have him either," she muttered to herself. She began to plan something even bigger, something dangerous. Vanessa could not sleep that night. She tossed and turned, thinking about how Desmond had defended Lisa. The more she thought about it, the more her jealousy grew like fire in her chest. "This girl wants to take my place," Vanessa whispered to herself. "If Desmond truly falls in love with her, then I will lose everything. I can't allow that to happen." The next day, Vanessa returned to the mansion with fake smiles. She hugged Desmond tightly, pretending nothing was wrong. But in her heart, she was already planning her next move. Lisa, on the other hand, continued her work quietly. She never raised her voice, never disrespected anyone. Even after all Vanessa had done, she still greeted her politely. "Good morning, Ma." This made Desmond admire Lisa even more. How can someone with nothing still be so kind? He thought. Vanessa's plan was simple but dangerous. She wanted to disgrace Lisa in front of Desmond and the public so badly that he would have no choice but to send her away. So, she told Desmond one afternoon, "Darling, let's host a small party this weekend. Just close friends. It's been a while." Desmond agreed. He thought it was just another dinner, but Vanessa's true plan was different. When the day of the party came, rich guests filled the mansion. The air was full of laughter, music, and the smell of expensive food. Lisa was busy serving drinks, her simple dress looking neat even though it was plain. Vanessa watched her like a hawk. She had already told one of the waiters, who she bribed to accidentally spill wine on a guest and then blame Lisa. Everything was set. The music played, the guests chatted, and then suddenly splash. Red wine poured all over one lady's expensive gown. The lady screamed in anger, and the waiter pointed straight at Lisa. "She did it," he lied. The crowd turned to Lisa. Lisa froze, shaking her head. "No, please, I didn't do it." The guests began to whisper, their eyes full of judgment. Vanessa quickly stood up, pretending to be shocked. "Desmond, I warned you about this girl. She has no manners. She will disgrace you one day, and see, it has happened already." Lisa's eyes filled with tears. She turned to Desmond, her voice trembling. "Sir, I didn't do this." The whole room went silent, waiting for Desmond's reaction. Vanessa smiled secretly, sure she had finally won. But Desmond slowly stood up, his eyes scanning the room. Then he said firmly, "Before I say anything, let's check the cameras." Vanessa's smile disappeared. "Cameras?" she stammered. "Yes," Desmond replied. "This is my house. Every corner has cameras. Let's see what really happened." The guests gasped. Vanessa's heart began to race. She never thought of that.